please.
I'm not going to tell anyone that I did that, so it's not what it is, and I did the process right.
Right, good morning everyone. Look, I normally move through this at pace where nothing has changed, but there's a few little changes this morning I'm just going to spend a moment on. Levels of service have been tracking steadily for about 6 months and have begun to go up, and there's a lot of reasons for that, focus primarily from staff. We're up on paper here at about 88. When you take into account the resident survey, it's about 90. Now, I know 85 to 90 doesn't sound a lot, but it's quite different from 50 to 55. You hit the wall of diminishing returns. So I just want to put that in perspective. That's the highest result we've had for levels of service since 2009, pre-earthquake. Behind that single number is a lot of people and a lot of work. So I just wanted to spend a moment on that to say 5%, it's more than 5%, okay? The other thing is that without taking any thunder from people you'll be hearing from over the coming weeks, it's part of a wider pattern. So there's a lot of positive news, and I won't steal their thunder, but when you see these presentations that will be coming to you, just be aware that they do kind of join up. This is part of a wider pattern for the city and for the organisation. Right, so levels of service up, well over target. Capital delivery is steady at 82.5% odd. The planning side, there's still a month to go for the March 25 target. It's only 2% off. I think that can comfortably be, as it's forecast, that it probably will hit its target. Drawdown for 30th of June, still a little bit to go, but there's time left for that. And value for money about activity budgets. There are some there, water supply, parks, wastewater, that are overspent. Now, I should emphasise that the overs and unders in our budget do net out. That's fine. But that doesn't mean that we will not look at those areas and understand what's going on there and what can be done. So the unders and overs net out is not the attitude that we want to take to that. There's more coming in the finance report, but above all, the heads of service are looking at why those overspends are there and what can be done. There's also that's the headline of the report. There's some Q&As at the end around questions that were asked at the last meeting. So building regulation, there's a quite comprehensive and I think excellent answer there around building consent application numbers. Will there be a predicted downturn? What's the inspection failure rate and why? I'm not going to line by line that, it's several pages long, but it's a very comprehensive answer. And there's also another question there about the parks budget, which has been a little bit superseded by events. But those Q&As are there to address the items that were raised. So that's the overview of the vital few.
Hey, thanks, Peter, for that. It's a really good report. Tyler had a question. And then I think Victoria, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
Just referring to page 22 at the bottom of the performance by activity graph for February 2025. It has at the bottom business support and continuous improvement. The variance after the carry forward is 208%. Can you tell us why?
I'm sorry, I just need to catch up a little bit.
Sorry, that's really quick.
Yeah.
Which page are you on, Tyler?
Page 22 of the agenda.
Yep.
Just above 5.9, you'll see business support and continuous improvement.
Yes.
And the variance percentage after the carry forward is 208%. Does that mean there's been a significant underspend in that unit?
Look, as tempting as it is to shoot off the hip, I'd love to know what's under the number before I answer that.
Okay.
Would it be okay if I actually verified what it is?
That's fine.
Because, I mean, any one of these numbers on that table has a story.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know what the story is there.
So let's get your response. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Victoria.
Thank you, Sam. Peter, my question is about the planned delivery budget at 8.9. You referenced the analysis that's to be done and provide that graph that causes me a little bit of grief. I'm keen to understand, please, when can we expect to receive that analysis? Just very mindful of the annual plan decisions coming up? And also I'm keen to understand what period of time will that analysis be looking at? Is it just analysis for the year, or is it going to be out for 2 or 3 years? Thanks.
Look, there's been a lot of good work done in that space, but I think it would be only appropriate that Project Management Office answers those questions.
We've got
They're the ones who've been doing the work, and they're coming up.
and I've got Bede's got a comment as well, so we'll jump.
Okay.
We'll jump to that now, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Henstock, and through you, Mr. Chair. So look, the capital delivery work that's been done in terms of where we're going will be considered by the ELT this week. We will then bring that back to the committee and for its consideration and for you to see it. It will be done in time for it to be formed part of the annual plan deliberations as requested. In terms of where it goes, it focuses on the next financial year, but it does have implications out into subsequent years, which we're still working through what those might be. So, but that's a piece of work. The subsequent years beyond the next year will take more work, but we believe we'll be able to bring back a fairly well iterated version of where we think the capital delivery will be for the next financial year, the one we're currently doing the annual plan for.
Okay, 2 questions arising from that. You said in time for the long term, for the annual plan deliberations. When is that going to be? I just need to make sure that we've got sufficient time. So if it's at ELT this week, when will it be coming to us?
Oh, so through you, Mr. Chair, I'd need to check with the committee and whether ELT have any comments about whether they want it amended or changed before it comes forward, but we'll be able to give a date.
At the last meeting, we'd said by the end of April
or
was the
something.
Okay.
working time. So.
Yeah. So we would expect to have it back shortly after it's gone to ELT, but I can't give a specific date.
And did I understand you correctly that the focus of the analysis is only on the immediate year, but there'll be some implications with further work to be done about beyond the year? Because I'm interested in more than just a year.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, we go Bede.
Jump in, Mary.
My understanding that if there's a alteration in year 1, it will impact on future years. So it's looking on more than the first year. It will look on the first year and outwards.
Because I'm just mindful of all the bring-backs and carry forwards and everything. So it's keen to understand that we don't set ourselves up for a problem just by pushing it out a year.
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's exactly the issue we're trying to address, is to ensure that we don't actually just send a bubble further down the line, and in actual fact the delivery is able to be done on a stage basis, and the work has been done to ensure that there can be accuracy around the deliverability of the program out, and the carry forwards, etc., bring backs, rephasing all play into that.
Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing that piece of work.
Cool. I was just interested in page 23, the 8.2.4, that we're under recovery of Hagley Park parking revenue. I know there were some delays in getting it in. I'm just wondering if we've got a sense of when we'll know how it's tracking versus budget in terms of operations versus the delays in getting it in, meaning that we're behind. So do you know when we'll be able to understand whether the forecast that we did for the revenue expected from those parking charges is meeting what we thought versus just the annual sort of recovery of...
Yanni, I think, sorry to jump in, Pete, I wonder whether we should have a think about adding a resolution in just to get, because you've asked us a couple of times, and I think, and it's good, the team have been quite upfront about it, but maybe we need to get something locked in so we know whether we want to carry on with it, because I get the same feedback, which is, why are we doing it? So,
cool.
If you've got a response,
yeah,
Peter, but
sure.
If not, do you want to work on something Yanni to add in?
Happy for some sort of resolution, just in action, just to follow up.
Yeah.
But I think we've asked previously to understand the turnover as well. So, because one of the reasons for doing this was for turnover. Cool. Second question I had was in regards to the water supply services. And I think we're getting a briefing, sorry, this is just on page 29, but I think staff have previously responded. I just wanted to check that we're on track with Te Mata Arawai, that we're going to get some sort of briefing sometime soon around the whole issue of compliance and exemptions.
Tomorrow ROI will be down in the next 2 months. I'll just to confirm the dates, but they will be given a briefing to council.
Next 2 months, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And do we have, just want to check on the backflow register. Is it on track to be accurate from the 31st of March?
I understand it is.
Okay, that's good. Cool. Thank you.
Question. Oh, sorry, Mel. Yeah.
I just saw Rupert looked ready to answer when Yanni had his question. I wondered, no.
Okay. Any other questions? Well,
I want to answer.
do you have it? Is it something that will be different to? We're just getting some proper advice back, so let's capture it there. Yeah. Okay. So Yanni's happy to move this. Mark's happy to second it, and we're just comfortable with that additional wording Mary's written up for us, which is great. Staff advice on the, that's just disappeared from my screen, on the Hagley Park charges. Efficacy of the Hagley Park. Yep. Everyone happy?
Whether you need to specify, because this was a revenue raising.
No.
It was. This was.
No. Sorry. So
It was a revenue
Yanni, stop.
target.
Stop. Yeah. This is just to get back some information, which we've worded it in a way so we can. So this is more helpful than ask at every meeting. So let's get you something back properly.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
On that amendment, because these things take a bit of time before you can actually get the data. Is enough time lapsed for staff to do that work? Or do we need to wait
It'll
longer?
come back with it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So this is a good way forward for Yanni's question, so that next month, when he asks this question, we can say we're getting advice. Okay. So that's been moved and seconded. All in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
everyone.
Okay, so let's go to the financial report. Russell's here.